Is paying the price right now for President Biden's appeasement. The Biden people believed in diplomacy, first, last, and always. We're in a knife fight with Russia and China and Iran, and the Biden people wanted to quote Socrates to them. I see what you see. Here's what I see. Putin has reneged on every promise that he has made to President Trump. His latest proposal is, well, nothing. He wants to keep all the territory that he's taken. He wants to prohibit Ukraine from joining NATO, and he wants America and Europe to stop helping Ukraine. I think that Putin thinks that America has taken the bullet train to Chump Town. I think he thinks we're afraid of him. He has jacked around President Trump at every turn. He has disrespected our president. I don't think it's going to get any better until we make it clear to Mr. Putin that we are willing to turn him and his country into fish food. And I'm not talking about nuclear weapons or nuclear war. I would start with oil, which I will be glad to talk about if you want.
Well, hey, folks. Welcome back to the channel where truth, freedom, and American strength come first, and we don't pull punches. If you love your country, if you believe in secure borders, a strong military, and not taking crap from foreign tyrants, you're in the right place. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that Liberty bell so you don't miss a single update. Today, we're reacting to a Fox News Sunday segment with Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, and let me tell you, he dropped truth bombs like the 4th of July. The title of the video? Putin thinks America has taken the bullet train to Chump Town. And folks, sadly, he's right. Let's break it down. Now, I don't care where you stand politically, Republican, independent, old school Democrat, when a foreign thug like Putin laughs at us and thinks America is weak. That should infuriate you. Why does he think that? Because under this current administration, we look like we're more worried about using the right pronouns than projecting strength on the world stage. President Biden has turned America from the world's sheriff into the world's punching bag. And Kennedy is calling it like it is.
President Biden and Europe agreed that Russia can continue to sell its oil as long as they don't get more than $60 a barrel. Russia gets 1/3 of its revenues from oil. We need to stop all of the sales of oil. We need to get Russia down and choke them. They're not going to come to the table otherwise. I want a settlement in Ukraine. We also have to ask Europe to do better. Europe's got to start paying its own bills. If it wasn't for the American taxpayer, Putin would be in Paris right now. Europe's got to do more. But mainly, we've got to make Putin understand that there is a price to be paid for his jacking our president around.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to get that at this point. I want to ask you about Iran as well, because we just wrapped another round of talks with them. President Trump was asked by Time magazine, this lengthy interview he had with them, about whether he worries about the U.S., quote, being dragged into a military situation with Iran because Israel takes action. But here's what he said.
Iran hates America as much as it hates Israel. I would love to see a settlement with Iran, but Iran can't have access, directly or indirectly, to nuclear weapons. If Iran gets a weapon or is days away from getting a weapon, there will be a war. Iran won't start it, and America won't start it. Israel will. And Israel knows that if Iran gets a bomb, Israel is a smoke turkey. The first thing Iran will do will be to bomb Israel. And Israel's not going to tolerate that, and I don't blame them.
All right, I want to make sure I get to a couple of other things with you. Legally, you're an attorney, as am I. You have said that you will call out President Trump loudly if you think he is not following federal courts and the orders that they have. The Supreme Court has made some statements about what the administration should be doing with respect to getting Kilmer Obrego Garcia back from El Salvador. They've admitted that was a mistake. You've talked about them making a mistake with that, too. But federal judge Paula Zinnes does not think this administration is complying with that order. Here's a little bit of her order from April 22nd coming down on the Trump administration, saying There's been a continued mischaracterization of the Supreme Court's order. She's used the word specious. She said there's been willful and intentional noncompliance. Now, the president's legal team sees that order to facilitate and effectuate his return differently, clearly, than Paula Zinnick's. The judge sees that. What do you think the Supreme Court meant, and do you think the administration's in compliance?
I don't think President Trump has defied any federal orders. I don't know what these judges expect the federal government to do. Bukele has said he's not returning Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia is not coming back to the United States, ever. I don't think the federal courts can direct the executive branch to go in and try to take Mr. Garcia by force. I also think that Mr. Bukele in El Salvador is taking advice from China. He's much closer to China than he is to the United States. People don't realize that. And I think China is loving all this turmoil. I don't think that let me say it again, I don't think the president has defied any orders of a judge, nor should he. I believe in the rule of law. If you don't like a judge's opinion, you can criticize it. You can appeal it. That's why God made courts of appeal. If you're an elected official, you can quit if somebody orders you to defy it, but you can't defy it. That will undermine the legitimacy of our entire system. But I don't think that President Trump has done that. I just don't know what these federal judges expect the executive branch to do.
Well, so much of this legal action has to do with immigration, deportation, the border. I want to read something from our next guest, Congressman Adam Smith, speaking to that issue. He says this: there are a lot of people in this country, undocumented, who should be allowed to stay. They have been a vital part of our economy. They are vital parts of our community. He says deporting them is often separating families. It's sending people back to countries they aren't even familiar with. What's your response to him?
Well, I have great respect for the congressman. What he has said would be interesting if it were true. Illegal immigration is illegal. Duh. If you don't like the law, change it. But you have to follow the law. The American people support legal immigration, but they don't support illegal immigration. They see the border like they see their front door. Most Americans lock their front door at night. They don't lock their front door because they hate everybody on the outside. They lock their front door because they love the people on the inside, and they want to know who's coming in and out of their home. The congressman and his party allowed 8 to 12 million people to come into our country illegally, and we don't have the slightest idea who they are. That's like adding 4 Nebraskas. If they believe in open borders. I mean, that's clear to me. Nobody is so incompetent as to allow that many people to come into our country. It has to be intentional. And the Democrats would be a lot more intellectually honest if they would just admit that they believe in open borders.
Let's talk about the sanctions, or as I like to call them, strongly worded suggestions. Russia is still raking in cash from oil sales. 1/3 of their revenue comes from it. And the West, led by Biden's jelly spine diplomacy, thinks capping it at $60 a barrel is going to do something. Senator Kennedy nailed it. We need to shut it down completely. No loopholes. No backdoor deals through China or India. Cut off the money, and you cut off the war. That's how you bring Putin to the table. And what about Europe? Kennedy said it best. If it wasn't for the American taxpayer, Putin would be in Paris right now. Look, I love our allies, but let's be real. We're footing the bill. While Germany and France host climate conferences and sip lattes, American families are paying higher gas prices to subsidize Europe's security. You want peace? Then everyone needs to step up. And until they do, we need leaders in Washington with the guts to call them out. Now let's talk about Iran. Senator Kennedy warned that if Iran gets nuclear weapons, even if they're close, there will be war. And he's right again. But here's the key. It won't be America that starts it. It'll be Israel. And they'll have every right to do so. Let me be 100% clear. We should never let a regime that chants death to America even sniff a nuclear bomb. The only language Iran understands is strength. Weakness invites bloodshed. Kennedy also spoke on the border, and folks, I've been saying this for years. Illegal immigration is illegal. Democrats like Congressman Adam Smith want you to believe that enforcing immigration laws is heartless. But locking your front door at night isn't cruel, it's common sense. It's about knowing who's in your house. You don't let 8 to 12 million people sneak into your country and then act surprised when there are consequences. That's not compassion. That's chaos. That's open borders, and yes, I said it, the Democrats support open borders. They may not say it outright, but their actions scream it loud and clear. Senator Kennedy also talked about the Garcia deportation case and the accusations that Trump defied the courts. Let me tell you something. The left wants you to believe Trump is lawless, but what's really lawless is trying to weaponize the courts for political attacks. Trump hasn't defied any court order. And Kennedy's right, if you don't like a ruling, you appeal it. That's how our system works. But the left doesn't want process, they want persecution. Senator John Kennedy showed us what it means to be a real American, to speak plainly, call out nonsense, and stand up for the country we love. We're in a knife fight with global tyrants, and Biden's tried to settle it with a handshake and a quote from Socrates. That won't cut it. It's time we stop apologizing for being the world's last hope for freedom. It's time to act like Americans again. So to my fellow patriots, don't lose heart. Speak boldly. Share the truth. Call your representatives. And get ready, because 2024 and beyond will be a battle for the soul of this nation. God bless you. God bless Senator Kennedy. And God bless the United States of America. If you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What do you think? Is America headed to Chump Town, or are we going to turn this ship around? Stay loud, stay proud, stay American,